And welcome to another episode of Gamerheads. My name is Roger, aka Rogue Leader 76, and with me as always is my co-host Blue,
aka Writer's View,
and my other co-host Mike,
aka Pezman Mike.
Welcome to the show. We have a lot to discuss today. We'll be talking about our news, obviously. The hot topic this week is going to be about the Game Awards show, so we'll give our thoughts on that. And then we also have a review of Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. But first, I do have an icebreaker. And the icebreaker that I have for this week is, what is your favorite video game Christmas memory?
After you, Mike.
Yeah,
oh,
Mike.
Thanks. I appreciate it. That's
You're
all right.
welcome.
I'll give you some more time to wake up.
Is this like a sad? Is this indicative of like being a sad Christmas? Like, do you
No.
guys not have good Christmas memories?
I have.
Go ahead.
I've got
Go ahead.
great. I think so. I got great. No, I've got some good Christmas memories.
Okay.
But my favorite. So let's see. I'm trying to think. So one of my most memorable Christmas memories is so my brother and I, our rooms were in the basement. So on Christmas Day, we would get up at like 3:00 in the morning and sneak upstairs to see what presents we got. And Santa was lazy and didn't bother wrapping his presents, and that's cool. So
Save a tree, right?
that's right. So we would sneak upstairs and we would try to see what gifts we have, but we wouldn't turn on any of the lights in fear of waking up our parents. So it would literally take us about 45 minutes just to get up the stairs and crawl into the living room. In retrospect, we could have just like stomped through there. My parents would have slept through all that. But and we would like strain our eyes to see what was there because it was almost pitch black in the living room, trying to figure out, what we had. But one year, my memorable one is when I got my NES system. And I got I got the NES system with Super Mario Brothers, and we got baseball and pro wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And that was also the year that I realized that either my parents are not aware of how some games work or they hated me. Because one of the very first games I got for the NES on that Christmas, so it was baseball, it was pro wrestling, Mario, and Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh, Ghosts and Goblins, yeah.
That is a memorable first level. I don't know anything about any of the other levels until I got the Game Genie, but that's a Christmas of a different time. So to me that was awesome, just when I got that first one. And then I also when I got my N64 was awesome. Cruisin' USA, I played that all day on Christmas.
Wow, yeah, that's a good game. I love that game.
Yeah, and then one of my other favorite Christmas presents is this was at a family party. My uncle got me Kirby's Pinball Land.
Ooh, good
cool.
one.
For the Game Boy, and I just went through that game nonstop. I think I played that for about 2 years straight.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
those are good Christmas memories.
Yeah.
Blue, what about you? I'm just laughing because I'm thinking about mine, and I don't think they're going to be as touching, but
So actually at the Well-Read Mage, one of the sites that I write for, they're doing this same thing. All the mages are collaborating in an event they're calling Chris Mage.
Oh, cool.
And every day, one of the mages is sharing their favorite video game Christmas memory. And so it was complicated because I've never gotten video game anything for Christmas.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Really. So my parents were much more likely to give, books or clothes or that kind of stuff, not so much frivolous things like video games.
Yeah.
So my piece that I wrote was all about the things that I had always hoped Santa would bring me, and then I didn't get. So I know everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is the saddest thing ever," and I was like, "I didn't mean for it to be sad. I meant for it to be like tongue in cheek funny." But I guess I depressed everybody. So
It is kind of depressing. So like I can just imagine a young Blue going through like for me at least it was like the JCPenney catalog, right? They'd have all the different stuff and they would have video games in there. And you'd be like, oh, I really want that. I really would like that. And then you sit on Santa's lap, Santa, can I get Mario Brothers this year? No, kid. You're getting clothes again. No.
Well, yeah. Well, and part of that was because my parents always told me from the youngest age that there was no such thing as Santa. So, yeah.
Wait, what?
I know.
Throw a spoiler alert at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh,
kidding,
yeah.
right? Oh,
sorry, Roger.
No. I'm just joking.
And so, yeah, it's always kind of annoying. Like, at least for me when I was a kid, because all the adults are like, oh, did you send your letter to Santa? Are you excited about Santa? And then, like, if you dare say, come on, there's no such thing as Santa, I already know. Then the adults are like, are you sure? Are you really sure? And they, like, want to debate with you about it, and you're like 7.
And then you're like, wait a minute, are my parents lying to me? Is there really a Santa?
I know. I was like, no, wait a second. Maybe Santa just skips our house because my parents say there's no Santa. Maybe he visits everybody else because all the other grown-ups seem so very sure.
They tell Santa, don't come to our house.
Just keep on moving, fat man.
Yep. So.
Oh, man.
Those are my video game Christmas memories.
Oh man!
Well, what's your address? I need to send you a game.
Thank you.
I'm gonna write to Santa Claus this year and say, Santa, can you send Blue a game?
Yeah, I'm gonna mail you my copy of Ghosts and Goblins.
That's punishment.
Gee.
I don't know if that's
yeah. Isn't that kind of like? You should have gotten coal, but he gave you Ghosts and Goblins instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Digital coal.
Yep.
When it's funny that you say about how your parents, said that there's no Santa, because like my wife and I actually got into I wouldn't argue a debate on whether or not we should tell our kids if there's Santa or not, and the reason being because when I was a kid, Santa would come and I wouldn't. I mean, I got some video games, but when I was So I don't know if you guys celebrate Saint Nick as well.
Yeah, that the 6th, right, with the shoes and the candy and the what?
Yeah, exactly. So on Saint Nick's Day, which is also, I was told it's the same guy. It's Santa Claus, which doesn't make any sense to me. Why does he come twice? But he would, on Saint Nick's Day, they would just put like oranges and candies and stuff like that and whatever. And this one kid, who was kind of a brat, got video games, and I thought.
What?
I know.
Real Christmas?
No, yeah, he would get a Game Boy game on St. Nick's Day, and then he would get like a bigger video game on like Christmas. And I'm getting oranges and candies, and this kid who is like a bully at school is getting video games, and I'm like, well, wait a minute here. This doesn't seem right. This doesn't, this
offends my 6-year-old sense of morality.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, here I am, a good kid, and I'm thinking maybe Santa has his list mixed up or whatever. And then when my parents told me, I don't remember how old I was, probably 2nd or 3rd grade, which seems old, but I think that's when it was. And they called my brother down first. So my dad was working in the basement, and he called my brother down first, and he told him, and then he came upstairs, and he called me down, and he said, "So there's something we gotta tell you. Santa Claus isn't real." And I bawled and I cried because at school, all these kids were telling me that's not real, and I said, my parents would never lie to me, never. And then I found out the truth. No. Yeah. But so we debated whether or not to tell our kids, and we decided that, let them have this magical moment, right? Just let them believe it, and then. And if they ask if he's true, we'll just ask them, what do you think? And let them logically think that out. But my son, my son who's 3, so he doesn't go to school. He doesn't go to daycare. He doesn't interact with other kids that would tell him this. He has an imaginary friend named Rexy. And he said to me one day, Rexy told me Santa Claus isn't real. And I was like, oh, is Rexy a ghost?
Yeah, I was about to say, Roger, this is indicative of a bigger problem.
Yeah, I think you need to start being really, really nice to Rexy.
Yeah, you should get a priest in there or something just to double check.
An old priest and a young priest.
Yeah.
He told me that Rexy died in a fire, and I'm like, what?
Okay, now we're going past the point where we're just joking around, but seriously, you need to get some higher power in that house.
Oh my gosh.
Either that or start charging it rent.
That's like, you always read about those stories online where people say their kids said the creepiest things, and I'm always like, whatever, they're making it up.
Yeah,
exactly.
How old is your house?
It's pretty old. I mean,
was it rebuilt?
They extended on the house. So I'll just tell another quick story and then I'll move on. But and I'll tell my Christmas story. But my daughter, when we first moved into this house, my daughter was like my son's age, so she was like 2 or 3, somewhere around there. And she was telling me one day, she said, "Oh, the pilot told me about something or whatever, and he was walking down the stairs." And I said, "What?" She said, "Oh, flying over a mountain or something like that." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, there's a guy walking down the stairs with a pilot suit on, and the guy that lived here that died was a pilot." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
Roger, I'm just going to tell you right now.
Okay, your house is Amityville Horror.
Yeah, if you decide to start digging for a pool in the backyard.
No pools for you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so but I have not seen anything or experienced anything, but yeah, so that was a little scary. Anyway, my Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hey, and God bless us, everyone.
My Christmas memory. So I got to set this up a little bit because you have to know my grandfather. So my grandfather was the cheapest person I've ever met in my life, and also a real jerk. Like, I don't have fond memories of my grandfather on my mom's side. My dad's side I have fond memories, but my grandfather on my mom's side, like, he didn't want anything to do with kids. In fact, he told my mom, just a little backstory to this, he told my mom when we were 2, "You better watch out. Those kids might grow up to kill you." This is my grandfather. Yeah.
What?
So yeah, he was a good guy.
Rexy probably told him that.
Yeah, probably.
Was he right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Jeez. So
hey,
anyway,
full disclosure,
So on Christmas one year, just to give you a background. So Christmas one year, my grandmother packed these shirts for us. They're flannel shirts, and it is always flannel shirts that we got from them. And she said, "Check the pockets." And I checked the pocket, and there was nothing in there. And I said, "There's nothing in there, Grandma." She's like, "Oh, I put like $5 in there for each of you." And my grandfather said, "I went bowling. I needed the money."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he unwrapped the gifts, took the money out, and rewrapped them.
At least you rewrapped them, I guess.
I guess.
Oh, man.
So
I gotta send you a game, too.
No, you just need to send him $5.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I'm going bowling later today, so.
Oh, yeah. So you can't.
You're on your own.
Yeah. So this is why this is so crazy. So he gives us. I opened up this gift, and it's Tecmo football, the second Tecmo football. And I'm like,
ooh,
what the heck? And I still suspect that my parents actually bought it and just gave it to my grandfather and said, "Here, give it to him." Because I was like super ecstatic, and he was just like, "I don't even know what that is, but yeah, you're welcome." I'm like, "Okay, thanks." So I guess it's my favorite Christmas memory because of the fact that, up to that point, even after that, he was a real cheapskate. So I really don't think it was him. I don't know. I guess I ruined my own Christmas memory. All right.
Oh, no.
Anyway, listeners, if you want to share what your favorite
Now they're all depressed.
Christmas memories are, you can send us a tweet at GamerheadsPC, or you can email us at info@gamerheadspodcast.com. You can also go to our website and fill out just can't stop laughing. You can go to our website and you can contact
please
us
stand
there.
by. Roger's unavailable.
Okay. You can contact us on the site at gamerheadspodcast.com. Okay.
All right. Do you want me to take the next news?
Can you?
Okay, no problem. All right. So, Fortnite once again in the news, and this comes from today. Fortnite addiction prompts parents to turn to what else? Rehab. As the Fortnite craze continues to grow exponentially, parents are taking a drastic step, sending their kids to a video game rehab, which is a 4-week summer camp that focuses on teen tech addiction.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is my theory on this, that there was a teen camp out there for teen tech addiction, and then they're like, oh man, we don't get a lot of people coming to this camp. Hey, why don't we just throw out Fortnite in that? Yeah, let's say we solve Fortnite problems, and then, parents hear Fortnite, they're like, well, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I also find it interesting.
Sorry.
Your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, it's got to be expensive, though. I mean, you can't just send your kids to summer camp just because you hear Fortnite and you think it's a fad.
Yeah.
Here's my question. This thing is about people being addicted to their phones and tech. How did these parents sign up for this? Did they mail a self-addressed stamped envelope to PO? Like, I don't know. I've been around, the three of us, we've been around long enough to say, we've seen this song and dance before.
Yeah.
It's a flavor of the week thing.
Yeah.
It's going to go away. I've had firsthand experience with Fortnite, and yes, I've had to tell my son, all right, look, this is study time. Like, you're not, you have your homework, you have a test coming up. Fortnite, you're not doing anything Fortnite related today. Or for the next few days until we get the results from your math test or things like that, just to make sure that you're keeping on top of your grades. That's the thing, is that it begins and ends with the parenting.
Yeah.
And if you need to send your kid to a 4-week camp so that they're not as addicted to tech, I don't know. I gotta say, I see adults obsessed with their phones just as much as I see kids obsessed with Fortnite.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is like this may sound a little, I don't know, I guess just maybe, I don't want to say snotty, but maybe a little bit. But I just feel like it's like the rich people's problem, right? I mean, sorry, but like you said, Blue, this is really probably expensive. So who's sending their kids to this stuff? It's these, I'm sorry, I think it's these parents that are like, oh, Fortnite, oh, gotta send them off. I don't know. I'm just, maybe I'm being cynical. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there is a market, though, for goods and services that parents can use that mean that they don't have to parent.
Yes, that's my point. That it's these, sorry, but it seems to me like really wealthy families that don't want to parent their kids, and they send them off to this camp instead. Like, because you said, Blue, this is probably really expensive. I didn't look into it, but I can imagine it being expensive.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, when my husband used to work as a police officer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he would get calls in the morning from parents, and he would go to the house and, what seems to be the trouble, ma'am? And they'd be like, my son won't get out of bed and go to school. You need to make him. Are you
kidding?
I am not kidding.
Oh, my God.
And then he would have to explain this is not an appropriate use of calling police officers. But, yeah, I think that, there are just that good portion of parents out there that just don't have any clue how to do their job, or, neglected to do their job for so long, and now their kid is 16 and won't do anything. They say, I don't know. I don't have any kids, so I probably shouldn't comment, but I think those people are definitely out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a sad story. All right.
We're on a roll today.
Yeah, we are. We are. I'll take the next one then. From Push Square, Bethesda's under fire again as website ticket glitch causes unauthorized access to personal information. So we talked about this last week, where Bethesda said that they didn't have enough the canvas bags were too expensive to make. And I'm calling that, and so all these people that would order the game, like the Ultimate Edition or whatever, and you get a canvas bag, none of them, they got nylon bags instead. And then Bethesda came back and said, oh, well, we'll compensate you with microtransactions. And I'm calling this Canvas Gate, because it just makes everything has to have a gate at the end of it. Now Bethesda said that they would be sending out the bags, so you would have to go on their site to create a ticket which contains details about your problem. And in this case, with the replacement bags, some of the personal information leaked including names, home addresses, and contact information. So they just can't win. This is like, did they break a mirror or something? Like, what the hell?
It does seem like an awful lot of bad karma.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And the other thing, so we'll talk about the Game Awards later, but it was interesting to see them talk about Rage 2. It's like almost like let's forget about
moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
nothing to see over here.
exactly. So wow, I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's also interesting that you would have to give home addresses and stuff like that for problems with the game. Yeah,
I know exactly.
What if they were probably just fishing for information?
Yeah, well, probably.
And then it went wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Because I just got an email. This is unrelated, but I got an email from GameStop, and I wasn't sure if it was true or not, so I didn't fill out any of this stuff. But it was like, hey, we want to extend this service to you. We can like take on these online services or online surveys and stuff like that. But then you had to create an account separate from your GameStop account. And then it was asking for your date of birth, and it was asking for, like all this other information. I was like,
sounds legit.
Yeah, it sounds legit. I'm like, I could create a website that looks just like this and just put links on it back to GameStop's website. So I don't think so.
They sent me the same thing.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they said it was exclusive. I thought it was
Well, it must be sort of exclusive. I didn't get one.
Oh, yeah. Are you a pro member, though?
Oh, not a pro member, no.
Oh, okay.
They have my email because I've bought stuff. That's it.
Yeah, I've got that email a few times. It's just it's an ad to join like Ebates or whatever one of those things are. I never did it. It's
I haven't either.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you hear about all these stories, and actually there was one story I didn't include on this, but there was an article about how video games are the new target for hackers, that they are getting information from, kids and young adults so that they can start hacking stuff. So you just think of that kind of stuff. So,
well, that's jumping back. I'm gonna jump back into Fortnite, only for a brief second, I promise. One of the loading screens, you know how like loading screens will give tips on how to play games.
Yeah.
One of the tips that shows up during the loading screen says, "Warning: never give your Epic account password to anyone."
Yeah.
So at least they're doing something with it.
Yeah. Well, they're covering their butts in case that happens. Like,
that's probably what they're really doing.
Yeah. Blue, do you want to take the last item?
Sure. From Push Square, Rockstar says they are fixing the economy in Red Dead Online. That should make you two very happy. In the first of what the developer says is a series of alterations to the game, it's increased the amount of money and the rewards that the players get from all activities. It's also balanced the general economy so that you can sell items for more and buy stuff for less.
So a fishing pole is not going to be $150?
Yeah, really.
And a can of beans. How much is a can of beans? It was like really expensive, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I bought beans. I usually just hunted my own animals and just made some nice, fritters or something on the fire.
Yeah, no, I haven't jumped back in since they made the changes. I mean, I'm glad that they are because, oh my gosh, yeah, it was ridiculous. We talked about this already, but I guess I'll have to jump back in. I know, Mike, you and the Controller Throwers started a little posse, and I want to join your little group. I don't know if it's a black tie kind of a group or whatever, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, this game could be really, really fun. They have to iron out stuff, and I understand it's totally in beta, so I don't think it's fair that we judge it as hard as we do, maybe, but it is out there, right? So, but yeah, I guess we'll have to check it. I would like to check it out again. I just haven't a chance to play Red Dead.
I haven't played it since then also, and at least the online portion. So things are going to get better over time, but I'm just worried that the one thing they won't be able to fix are the jerks. And
that's why you have to have a posse to
Strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers, exactly. Yeah, I heard somebody talking about this on another podcast where they joined a group, they joined a posse, they went and did this adventure with them. The group kicked him out of the posse and killed him and stole his stuff.
Can I say this is the most depressing show I've done?
I'm sorry, that just struck me as really funny.
Yeah, I hope you don't do that to me, Mike.
Spoiler: it actually was their problem.
Yeah, it was. So I got a quick story, Mike. When we first met, actually, it was actually I was listening to your podcast, and you said something about Destiny 2. You can join me on Destiny 2, and I friended you at that point.
Okay.
But I almost didn't play with you because you said something along the lines like, these people don't know how to play, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, God, he's really going to hate me playing Destiny 2.
I did?
You said something along the lines of...
Man, I don't remember being that salty.
I think you just said that you don't like playing with people that are, I don't know, just play like idiots or something like that. And then I was like, oh, God.
Oh, yeah, those jerks. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, when you're joining in a mission, like you get some rewards if you play like on heroic difficulty or the hardest difficulty, and if you're playing by yourself or if it was just like me and Brian, they would pair us with a third random person. And so many times that third random person would just bolt ahead and just try to speed run the level. Oh man, now I'm angry.
Wow, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to press the button. I was just saying.
I'd be like, wait, dude, come back. We need to do this as a team. He's like, see you later.
Okay, nobody's reviving you then.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just, it's funny because I was like really worried about playing games with you at first because I was like, oh God, you might think I'm like an idiot because I am really a noob on everything. But I mean, now I know you, so it's not the same. But it just had made me laugh that I think of that. So. They would have kicked me out of your little group and killed me.
Yeah.
Will you clip it if you do?
No, don't kick me out and kill me, Mike.
I'm just saying, people might be interested in seeing.
Well, there is an initiation process.
I don't really have anything on me anyway, so you
got them baked beans.
That's true. That is actually I do have a can of baked beans. That is true. Right. But I found it, so I didn't buy it. So.
Oh.
All right. Any other news items at all from either of you?
No.
So both of those from Push Square were actually written by our friend Robert. So cool.
Hooray.
All right, so let's go into then the listeners' feedback. So last week we asked our listeners what they thought about the government getting involved with loot boxes. So we talked about how with loot boxes now they're starting to investigate it and having the Federal Trade Commission's looking into it and I guess regulating it. So we got some feedback. Actually, I got quite a bit of feedback. I'm just going to go through a couple of the items because there's a good mix, I think. So the first one that came from Just Valcav. They tweet, I don't think so. As long as the buyer is at least 18 years old, they're making a conscious choice to gamble. It's up to the individual to control their own impulses. Game Kratos, I think that's how you pronounce it, tweets, yes, the industry refused to regulate itself due to greed. Governments in other countries are looking into it because this is a legit problem. And that's one thing I forgot to mention. I should have said there are other other countries, their governments are looking into the loot boxes and what they can do to regulate that. So I should have mentioned that, I didn't, so my mistake on that. Claymation Nation tweets, no, those games should be just fit into the mature rating because gambling is not for kids. I think the ESRB needs to evaluate games across the entire market, phones too, and add M ratings to anything with these systems. And then producer BTW tweets, I feel like as long as you pay and know they're going to get a game of themed fun stuff, then it's okay. I did loot box for almost a year. I can read actually. Sorry.
You take your time with this.
Yeah, it was fun, but definitely not great on the pockets. So so that was a good mix in there. What are your final thoughts on loot boxes, guys?
They haven't really changed from last week. I definitely appreciated everybody sharing their opinions. Yeah. I am I'm probably mostly aligned with just Valcab, the first guy. It's up to people to control their own impulses.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it's kind of going back to that Fortnite discussion that we had, right? With parents having to send their kids to addiction. I mean, I think it's all comes down to self-regulation yourself. So if you're not paying attention to what you're doing or what your kids are doing, I mean, I think part of it kind of points back to what are you doing? But I don't know. Mm-hmm. This is my thoughts. Mike, do you have any other final thoughts?
No, I liked what Claymation Nation said about fitting it into the rating, or putting some kind of notice on the box, like, hey, just as a heads up, you know.
Yeah, but I think Blue, I think your response to that was, yeah, but look at the kids that buy M-rated games.
Yeah,
anyway, right?
I did.
Yeah,
I responded to him
just
as just to be devil's advocate. What about, it's pretty difficult to keep M-rated games out of the hands of kids. Yeah. So I don't think that adding it into the rating or adding a separate rating for it, I don't think that would actually affect anything.
Yeah, I do think that, and I know that Apple Store, I think, is making games do this. I do think showing like what the odds of winning certain things are is probably a good idea. But again, I don't think that the government has to regulate that. I think that the market can regulate that. But I think that's a good move on the part of the game industry itself. If you're going to include loot boxes, to show like, hey, this is your chance of winning something like this is 1 in whatever, right? So, and I think most people understand like rarities, like most people understand how that all works, but I don't know, just some goodwill, I guess. Or if you're going to have a game like that, if you don't want yourself, again, I think the market would regulate it where, you have games that are not as forthcoming with that kind of information. People tend to just be like, maybe I don't want to play that. I don't know, maybe not.
I think it would be like putting calories on the menu at McDonald's. They do it because they're required to, but it doesn't make people buy the salads instead.
Yeah. Well, you're right. When I am paying attention to how much I'm taking in for calories, and I'm like, oh God, what am I eating? But then I eat it anyway. But
that was the most beautiful comparison.
Thank you. That you liked it.
It was so on point.
Yeah, it kind of all ties everything together, I think, very nicely. Yep. So, all right. So, Mike, let's go into our game that we are reviewing this week. So we got Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom.
Oh, I've been hearing a lot about this game.
Yeah, and Mike streamed it, and it was amazing. Oh my God, that game looks so gorgeous. So, Mike, do you want to talk about the Monster Boy's new game?
Buy the game.
Buy the game. Buy the game.
Buy the game. End. Now.
End of review. All right.
End of review. Moving on. No. Man, yes, I would love to talk about Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. Okay, so after my initial comment of buy the game, I'm going to say buy another copy of the game. It is such a great game. So I'm going to throw the genre out there. It's a Metroidvania type game.
Ooh, I'm sold.
Yep, exactly. It's a big open world, but you can only reach certain areas until your character Jin has certain powers that allow him to access those areas. There's a ton of hidden stuff in the game, and it's a blast overall. So the game was published by FDG Entertainment. And thank you for providing a review copy of the game. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same. So thank you. Yes.
And from the very beginning, it grabs you, especially if you're a fan of cartoons, like old school cartoons. The opening cinematic, I seriously, like with the music and everything, I felt like I was 8 years old eating a bowl of, I don't know, Reese's Puffs or something. On a Saturday. Oh man, now I want Reese's Puffs.
I know, anyway. Those were good.
Watching a cartoon on a Saturday, like it's just the opening cinematic, and then getting into the game. So in the game, you're a warrior, and your uncle has become evil and has turned the entire town into animals. So you're trying to stop your evil uncle from destroying everything. So very straightforward, nothing too deep. It's not like Metal Gear Solid 2 or anything like that. And but it's 2D. All the everything is hand drawn. And one thing I love about hand drawn games, things like that, is the animation. Like for example, like Earthworm Jim to me, like I loved how smooth everything was. Like Aladdin on the Genesis. Just that animation, it flowed. And this game is a lot like those. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, and everything just pops. Like it's just so colorful. It's just a beautiful game. Even the little things, and that's another thing, is that I love just the little tiny things, like little things in the background that you notice. One of my favorite things that I don't see very often anymore, idle animations. If I'm playing a 2D platformer, or even even any kind of game, if my character is standing still for an extended period of time, I want to see that little Easter egg or doing something fun, something interesting. So in the game, you earn your different powers by defeating a boss and turning into an animal based on that boss, if that makes sense. So
cool.
In one area, you'll fight a giant frog, and then when you defeat the frog, your character becomes like a 2-footed frog person, and you can use your tongue to hit these grappling areas that were previously inaccessible.
Oh, that's awesome. That's an awesome way of dealing with that kind of stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah. And, you also can turn into a snake, and the snake can crawl up walls that have grass on them.
Cool.
Things like that. So you find these little subtle cues, and there's backtracking, but it's good backtracking. It's Metroidvania style backtracking. Like, so for example, I was in a dungeon and I found a secret chest, and the chest had a tornado on it, which means one of the characters, you can throw these little mini tornadoes that attack all the enemies and bounce back and forth. But you had to use 20 tornadoes, like 20 tornado attacks.
Interesting.
And I only had 5 in my bank. So I had to wait. Actually, I was playing last night, and I just finally got the upgrade to 20 tornadoes. So now I need to backtrack into that other dungeon to see what's in that chest.
That's awesome.
And there's also different weapons and armor, different upgrades you can do. You can get a fire sword. You can get an ice sword. Different types of shields that reflect projectiles, things like that. Another thing I wanted to point out, this was really fun. When you turn into the frog, when you get the frog powers, there's these giant mosquitoes that dive bomb you. And as any other character, they're kind of tough. They're kind of tough to fight.
Yeah.
But if you're playing as the frog, you just use the tongue attack. He'll eat the mosquito and get energy from it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So the platforming is challenging, old school, classic platforming. For example, there was an area with a waterfall, and you use the ice sword to create ice blocks. So you have to climb up the waterfall by creating the ice blocks, but the moment you jump on one, it crumbles.
Oh,
so you have to be fast, and it's like, all right, it's not unfair. It's challenging, but it's definitely, you try it enough and you'll definitely get through it.
That's so cool.
The boss battles are awesome. They've got the bosses, just like old school games. They got patterns, and you got to figure it out. I was actually, when I was playing just the other day, so that I was fighting against this boss that was, you had to flip the screen around and he'd fall, and then you could start attacking him.
Oh my god, that sounds so cool.
Yeah. Well, not literally. You're not literally flipping your system upside down.
Still, it sounds cool though.
Yeah, and but then he gets wise to that, because they've got bosses have different phases. So like his third phase, he got wise to it. So I actually had to pause the game and just sit there with with my hands folded and just my index finger sticking up on my lip, just going, all right, how do I do this?
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so cool.
So the game, definitely has a magical feeling. I will say, as soon as this comes out, I don't know if there's really hope they have a physical, because I know I want to get this on CD, but I want to buy this soundtrack.
Oh.
It's so, like, it's toe tapping. Motoi Sakuraba is the composer, and it's a magical soundtrack. It's just it makes you feel good. Like it goes with the music goes with the levels that you're on, and it's just they've just done a fantastic job.
Nice.
It's definitely a good upgrade from Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap, which I haven't. I played and I did enjoy that game, but my problem with that game is I got lost too much. I'm like, all right, I don't even know where to go next in this. But in this one, it doesn't. It actually does. It guides you a little bit and tells you like, all right, here's the next area you need to go to, but it doesn't hold your hand. Like you can say, all right, well, I could go here, but I'm going to go do some exploring and see what kind of secrets I can find. And there are a ton of secrets. Absolutely.
Wow.
So if you are going to get this game, and I strongly suggest you do, go with the physical edition, unless you really want it on digital. The physical edition, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but you should get it because it includes a manual. Manuals should be included with every game.
Yeah.
It includes a full manual and stickers, especially if you like your
stickers.
Yeah, stickers. That's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love stickers.
So I don't know what else I could say. I mean, it's just I'm having an absolute blast with it. So if that's just a preview of how glowing my review is going to be.
Yeah, nice. And so you will have a written review on our site at gamerheadspodcast.com. So Mike, how does this game compare? I know you mentioned like the previous game, but how does this compare to like previous entries, and how does this part of the overall lore? I mean, do they kind of tie this into the overall lore of Monster Boy?
There's some nods to the previous games, but it's not like, all right, I haven't played the other ones, so I'm going to be lost.
Yeah.
It's its own game and its own world. It takes place in Monster World, but it's not like, oh, I recognize this character from this game. So it's its own standalone game, but there's definite nods to prior games.
Nice. Did they set this up for a sequel then too, or no? Do you know? I mean, does it feel like? Oh, okay.
I'm not. I don't want to spoil anything. No, I'll say that. I'll say this. So yeah. So obviously, if the game does well enough, which I'm hoping it does, is that yes, there will be a sequel. But the sequel is going to be in the same vein as these other ones, where it's, more than likely going to be another game set in the same world, where it's not like a direct continuation of the story.
Okay, cool. That sounds awesome. Blue, do you have any other questions or anything?
No, I think I was sold at Metroidvania and stickers. So I may be looking around and see if I can find a physical copy of this today.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, I know it came out this week. It came out on the 6th. Did the physical copy come out too? Do you know, Mike?
I could look it up. It'll take me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You know what? Yes, I think that it is, because I've seen on Twitter.
I was just gonna say, I see on Twitter too.
Yeah, people are showing off their stickers.
Yeah.
By the way, Metroidvania and stickers, that's another t-shirt idea.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my gosh, we gotta make a list of all the things that we're gonna make t-shirts of, because I totally forget. And even when we were watching the show, the Road show, like we came up with some ideas for t-shirts.
That looks like Gauntlet.
Yeah, exactly. That looks like Gauntlet. Does it play like Gauntlet, Mike? I'm just kidding. So yeah, cool. I just want to again thank you for FDG Entertainment for providing the review code for us. We really appreciate that, and we'll get the review up on our site so you can review that, and yeah, check the game out. It looks really good.
Yep.
All right, so let's go into the games that we're currently playing. So, Blue, let's start with you. What games are you currently playing right now?
I did not play Disgaea this week.
What?
I know, I should have. I was too busy playing Moonlighter.
Oh my gosh. Uh-oh.
Roger was just selling me on it today before the show started.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Blue,
up to the 3rd dungeon.
Are you really?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, Blue, I just want to say I hate you, because
I'm okay with that. It's for your own good.
It really is, actually. No, it's so funny because I was like, oh my gosh, another game that I'm addicted to. Like, this game is... Okay, go ahead. I want you to talk about it, and then I'll talk about it, because it's so good.
No, I just think, because there's, I don't know, I think you can approach it, like, in phases, strategically, because there are, you don't have a hope of moving on to the next dungeon until you max out your weapons with the materials available at the current dungeon that you're in.
Yeah.
And then you'll know you're as far as you can go because you'll go back to the weapon guy and, look for the next sword or whatever. And then when he shows you the materials you'll need, they'll be grayed out because you haven't even found them yet.
Sure.
And so, yeah, when you see that, you're like, okay, yep, time to just get to the next dungeon. And then, but it's, like the next sword that I need to buy, it's $96,000.
Holy cow.
I know. And I was like, okay, so that's going to take a little bit of time. And so now I'm just in the money-making phase. Go in, get the stuff, get out. We're not taking any stupid risks.
Oh my gosh, that's like totally my experience too.
But I mean, then there comes a point though where you have to be like, okay, now I've done everything that I can do, and now it's time to go find the boss of the dungeon.
Yeah. I'm not that far yet. I'm like on the golem part, or the golem.
Oh, still?
Yeah. I'm still there. So
yeah.
The game is so. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could go on. I'll talk about when I get to my part. So.
Okay, yeah. So I played that, and then the other game I played this week is Nier Automata. Is it?
Oh
Nier?
yeah.
Is that how we say it? Nier.
Yep.
Nier. Yeah. So I played that, which is one that I got on Black Friday.
Cool.
And, it's really fun.
Yeah.
I really liked the opening sequence when it's like part shoot 'em up, and then you land, and then you're guiding 2B around and fighting like a classic button masher kind of thing. It's fun.
Yeah. That game did that come out this year too? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I
Did it come
feel
out last
like
year?
it was last year, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't either. But yeah, no, that game's good. I have it. Yeah, it came out 2017. It looks like. So
yeah. My main complaint about it is that I wish they would pick a camera angle and stick with it.
Yeah.
Like, are we top down? Are we side scroller? Are we over the shoulder? Make up your mind.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. I haven't played much of it. I think I mean I have it. I just haven't played much of it, but it is fun. I mean, I think there's different endings I think in this game too. So I think that's what people really enjoyed about it, is that you could keep playing through it and get different endings and such. So
yeah, I don't know. I got to the first boss, which is like this buzzsaw type monster machine thing, and I died quickly because when it's sweeping the buzzsaws around,
yeah,
I got caught under it, and then it just like dragged me, and I couldn't get out, and so then I died. And then it starts you over.
Yes, yeah,
and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that boss. Yeah, that was a good game. I've heard good things. I've heard other people talk about it last year, and I picked it up. It was a really hard game to find at a used. I tried getting it used, and I found it finally, but it was really, really hard to get a hold of because of the fact that it has a lot of replay availability, and I think a lot of people kept it for that reason. So.
Yeah, I've heard 99% good things about the game.
Yeah. Did you ever play the first game in the series, Nier? It's just Nier.
No. No. I played Neo.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking of. Sounds the same, but it's not.
One's about robots, one's about ninjas, right? Neo's about ninjas or
something like that.
Samurais or something? Yeah. I have Nier. I have not played it. It came out on PS3, so it's not on PS4. But it's not as good as Nier Automata or Automata, or however you pronounce that next
Automata.
word.
That's what
Automata?
I'm going with.
Okay. But I think Square Enix had a part in that game too, so that's kind of cool.
Okay. Well, and that's what I was thinking, is the combat feels kind of Kingdom Heartsy.
Yep. Yeah, Square Enix did have a part in it. Yeah, it does. It does have a kind of a Kingdom Hearts feel to it. Very, very Square Enix-esque, I guess. Cool. Anything else you've been playing?
Yeah, the other one I tried this week is Overcooked.
Oh, the first or second one?
The first one.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, it's so stressful. Because I was trying to play it by myself.
Oh,
and
you
I was
can't.
just like,
You can't.
I know. I got past the first level, like just barely, and then I get to the second level, and like the things on the stove are on fire, and like for some reason the fire extinguisher is not next to the stove; it's like on the other side of the board, and I don't know why people are walking. Like there's a walking path in the middle of the kitchen. I don't know why that's there. It's there simply to torment you.
Yes.
But yeah, I was like, I can't do this. I'm so stressed out. I have to find somebody to play with me.
Did your husband play that game with you at all?
No, he was already in bed. I did text my sister at like 11:30 and I was like, I need your help. And she doesn't play video games, so she's like, you need my help?
What do you know about cooking and order taking?
I don't. Well, all you have to do is press square and what's the other one? It's X.
X, yeah,
X and square.
X.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah. So, my wife and I love Overcooked, and so we're at 67 stars or something like that. So we went through all the levels now. You have to go to each. We completed each level, and now we have to go through. There's like one additional level for each level that you have to beat before you can take on the main boss yet. But it's funny about because there's no way you can play that single player.
No,
it's just so hard.
That's really apparent. Really fast.
Yeah, and my wife and I love the game, and like we actually have really good strategy. We're trying to get all 3 stars in every level. But then we had some friends over, and I said, "Hey, let's play Overcooked." So it was another couple, right? Another married couple. And
is it a marriage tester?
Yeah, exactly. It was a friend tester because, oh my God, we were yelling at each other. And I was like, "No, go over here. You gotta go. No, you stay there. You prep this." After 5 minutes, they're like, "Oh, we don't want to play this game anymore." And my wife and I are like, "No, there's strategy. You got to do this." Like, yeah, we're done. Can we just play Mario Kart or something?
I guess they didn't want it bad enough.
I guess not. So that was it's cool. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up your time. Anything else you've been playing?
No, that was it. Those 3.
So the games that I'm playing. So yeah, I've been playing Moonlighter as well. And yeah, that game is really good. So, for me, I'm not very far. I played last night. I streamed it. I started at like 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I was up until 1 o'clock streaming it. and then I went to bed, and I'm like, I could probably play for another hour yet. I don't feel that tired. You
kept thinking about it, didn't you?
I did, because you go in and you're like, oh, just one more run. Just one more run.
Just one more quick run. Exactly. Then I'll be done. I promise.
Exactly. And then, oh my gosh. So I was bringing goods back, and then, we put them out there. And, I don't know how you do it, but I don't know where to start with some of these baselines, right? Like with the starting stuff.
Yeah.
So I put it, whatever. I'm like, well, this is kind of rare. I haven't run across this thing. So I'll put it like 200 gold or 300 gold or whatever. And then when they give you a frowny face, I'm like, I'm literally saying on the stream, listen, I went to the dungeons to find this, right?
Right. I killed all these monsters. What did you do today?
Yeah, exactly. Like, just give me a break. And like one of them was like this golden something, I don't know, but it was really cool looking. I didn't find anything else like this. I put it at 300, and they're like, no. And I'm like, really? You'll never find this anywhere else. Just
yeah, tough crowd for sure.
Yeah, and then some of the people came in, and they'd like just walk to the right, and I'm like, oh no, the table's over here, come look over here.
I know, they're just like stand there staring at the wall, and you're like, buy something or get out.
That's kind of how I was too. But yeah, it's such a good game. And now what I was thinking of, like what you were saying, is like you have to be careful that you oversaturate the market with certain items, right? So if you're making a lot of money on something, you got to make sure that you don't. So I had like these, I don't know, these cloths or something like that. I don't know what they were, fragments of cloth, and they were selling for like 300. So I only put like one out at a time, and then just wait for a while, and the next day I'll put another one out just to make sure that they know, like, oh, this stuff is really rare, guys. I can't. And I'm like, I have like 15 of them in my trunk. And then broken swords, for whatever reason, broken swords.
Oh, I know.
And I was like laughing. I'm like, oh, And this is what makes this game such fun to stream, because like I'm just like talking to these characters. I'm like, I got this really cool broken sword. Hey, I see you're a warrior. Hey, come on in. Let's look at this. This is. I put my Best Buy hat on and I start selling this stuff. So that game is really addicting. And
yeah. Do you have the thieves yet?
No, I do not.
Oh.
No. Oh, there's thieves? People come into my store and try stealing stuff?
Yep.
Oh.
When they walk in, they'll have like an icon above their head that's like a guy with like a burglar mask on. And then they just kind of walk around, and it's annoying because they never just come in and steal something right away. So you like have to sit there and watch them. And then meanwhile, your other customers are like standing up there at the register waiting to buy stuff. But you know if you walk up there and help those people, then the thief will take that opportunity. He'll grab something and bolt.
What? How do you stop him?
You press like the LZ button or whatever to tackle him.
Okay.
But you have to catch him.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy. Oh,
I
didn't
know.
think of that. Oh my gosh.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to bring one of these monsters back from the dungeon and tame it, and then it's going to be there specifically to eat thieves.
That game is so deep. That game is so good. So I did unlock two of the shops, or two of the shops. The hat shop and the potions shop so far. So those are the two. I thought she said hat shop. I don't know. I thought she said a hat. There was a potion shop and something else. I thought it was a hat shop, but maybe it wasn't a hat shop. Oh no, no.
Shop.
No, I opened up the blacksmith, and then the potion shop was called like something hat. I think that's. Oh what it's called.
Yeah. Okay,
that's what I was
like,
yeah.
I haven't been buying any.
You guys are really making me want to pick this up.
This game is so good, Mike. So
peer pressure, Mike.
Yeah,
we'll make a deal. You buy Moonlighter, and then I'll get Monster Boy.
I can live with that.
I wish the only thing I wish that this had, and I don't blame them that they didn't. But wouldn't that be fun to have like online capabilities on this game? Wouldn't that be fun?
I don't play anything online.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
No.
Well, then you won't play the game that I'm going to talk about next.
Okay, try me.
The game that I played, the other game I played is Survived By, and that is the game. So longtime listeners of the show knows that Matt Christian and I created this podcast, and he was one of the original co-hosts, and then he moved to Madison, Wisconsin, and works for Human Head, and the game that he's been working on is Survived By, which was announced at the Game Awards show.
Oh, that's where I was thinking. I was like, this sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it's so fun. That game is an online game, and it's a free-to-play game, and you can start it with 3 different classes. I took the Alchemist, and there's like a Archer, and then like some kind of like warrior type class that you can start with, and then as you go along, you earn more gold, or you can buy it with real money. But you can unlock different classes as well. But so you go out, and first of all, you have a surname for your house, and my surname is Gamerhead. So if your character dies, they're survived by the next character that is created, and then their surname is Gamerhead. So it's always a different first name, and it has the surname of whatever you picked for your house. So if you see Gamerheads walking around, that's me. But yeah, so as you go and you find different quests, and then you take your character. It's all like sprite created. It looks actually very much like a Super Nintendo game, kind of. And then there's randomized dungeons that you can go into, and you level up your character, and you get different things, and you go on different quests. It's really fun. I am enjoying my time with that game. So that's on Steam. As I said, it's a free to play game. It's by Human Head. It's Survived By. So if you want to check that out, you can send me a message on Twitter, and I could play along. I would play that game online with other people that are listening. So. And then we've been playing Diablo at lunch again. So more Diablo.
Yeah, 3. That because of the Game Awards, I saw that on sale for $40.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was thinking, it's so much more than $17.
Yeah, I know. Well, it the thing is, like, that was such a fluke too. The $17. Oh, but what a good deal on that. But my table of friends now are going to be playing Super Smash Brothers, and I have to wait until Friday. I'm kind of tapped out right now. I gotta wait. This holiday has been kind of killing me with games. So.
Oh, I know, for real. I was just thinking that my New Year's resolution should be I can't buy any new games until I finish one.
It's so funny that you say that because Matt would give me a hard time about that. He's like, you need to finish a game before you buy a new one.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know. So like for a while there, it was, all right, I have to beat a game first before I'm going to buy a new one. And then I was sticking to it. And then other games came out and I started buying
Yeah.
them. So.
But see, I've already pre-bought Kingdom Hearts, so that won't count. It'll just
exactly.
show up.
Exactly. Like that's already sunk cost. That doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going forward.
Exactly. We'll see how long I can make it.
Yeah. So that's all the games I've been playing. So let's do this. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll get into our hot topic, which is our thoughts on the Game Awards show. Go ahead.
Oh
no, you didn't talk.
I've
you
been
didn't talk
playing
about
games too.
Oh yeah, Mike's here.
Mike. Oh, Mike. Hey, welcome back.
I see exactly what's going on here. Okay.
Talk about Monster Boy. That's what you've been playing. End of story.
Yeah, that's it. Buy that game. By the way, in case you didn't catch it last time, buy Monster Boy.
Yeah.
So I've been playing Monster Boy, and obviously, I've done my gushing over that, but been spending most of my time with that. I did try getting back into Red Dead a little bit, and not even playing the online is just it's getting a little aggravating.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart to say that it's aggravating, that the game is aggravating me, but like I killed a legendary coyote.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
that's just such an odd phrase.
It was legendary. It was named. His name was Coyote. Willie.
Yeah.
Wiley Coyote.
Yeah. I was chasing after him, and then, he drew a tunnel on a boulder, and I crashed right into it. But so I killed that, and I'm riding on the road. I'm going to the trapper so I could trade in the legendary pelt and all the legendary stuff I got from it. When these 4 guys jump out of a bush and kill me and rob me.
Oh no.
And I'm just like,
that's unforgivable.
I was like, and it's funny because I was in a party chat with Brian, who's on the show on the Controller Thrower show, and he's like, he could tell that I got really mad, and he just got real quiet, and he's like, "Hey man, is everything all right?" It was really awkward, but I was like really mad about that. I was like, now I got to do this thing all over again.
Was that wasn't online? That was the regular game.
Just
right?
the regular game, yeah.
Oh, it wasn't.
So then
okay.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say so that was just some NPCs that jumped you then, and they could steal your stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
NPCs. Yeah, I don't know where. So then I respawned. I got really mad. I just found random people like riding in a wagon, and I just slaughtered them all.
Oh my god!
To take out my frustrations in the game.
Someone stole my pelts.
Yeah. And
Somebody stole my legendary coyote.
And I'm making it your problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, that's not how it works in real life?
No.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it is.
Stealing a legendary coyote doesn't constitute a problem on your part.
Yeah, but as soon as I killed them, though, I rage quit the game because I didn't want that counting against me.
See, that's how it actually goes. That's actually
So,
yeah.
But I played.
I can't say I've done that either. So
yeah. So I played that, and then I played just a short amount of Smash. And,
okay, yeah. That came out last night.
Yep. I really I'm enjoying the classic arcade mode. That's fun. But I was just playing it in handheld. I got to get my hands on the Pro controller and play that. The GameCube adapter is like sold out all around me. Like everybody's asking for that.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean the GameCube's a great controller. I don't know if that's my go-to controller for this game.
Yeah.
And I know
it's wired too.
Yeah, and I know it's what the professionals do.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but there's also an 8-bit do adapter, like a wireless adapter where it just plugs into the cord from your GameCube controller, and then it like converts the signal so that it works on the Switch.
Oh, nice. But so we talked about this, I don't know, probably like a year and a half ago on the show. the pro gamers will not play with wireless controllers because
Oh,
of
yeah.
the little bit amount of lag that happens. So that's crazy. It's crazy to think about that, but that's the reason why.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think
all
so
I
much
got.
so far of Smash?
I mean, it's Smash.
Yeah.
You know, punch, kick, toss off the side of the, but I haven't gotten a ton into it to really say, like, oh, this is, the greatest Smash ever. But I'm enjoying it. I like the spirits that, those are always interesting. The art style of those, of the spirits that you get is really cool. I got Top Man. Was that from Mega Man
Cool.
3, I think? Is that Top Man?
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, I got his spirit, and that, and all the different buffs that it gives you is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So,
can you unlock Simon Belmont right away, or do you have to
no,
wait for that?
you start off with the original fighters from the first Smash,
Okay.
and that's it. And you have to unlock everybody by going through different types of matches. So
That's kind of cool though. I enjoy that versus having to buy them DLC or something like that. So.
yeah, or even like what was it? Was it Mewtwo in Smash for the GameCube, where you had to play the game for like 48 hours before
really?
it unlocked? It was something like that.
Oh, that's crazy. That's cool though. That's cool. Yeah. I like I said, I want to get Smash. I need to wait until Friday. Anything else, Mike?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, so now for sure we're gonna take a break, and then when we come back, we'll get into the hot topic, then the thoughts on the Game Awards show. So stay tuned.
Hey, it's Carrington from Real Dudes Podcast, and with me I have some fantastic co-hosts. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
This is Andrew coming to you from Lynchburg, Ohio.
This is Cody coming from you also from Ohio.
And this is Kyle coming to you straight from the armpits of West Virginia. We are an indie gaming podcast. We all share a love for games. And you can check out our show on Podbean. Just search for Real Dudes Podcast. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, really any of the podcasting outlets that you like to use. Again, that is Real Dudes Podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you love video games, you will love our show.
Remember that feeling of playing an ultra-hard video game and dying? Over and over and over? Yeah, so do we. Listen to the Controller Throwers podcast on iTunes and Google Play. And check out the live show every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time at twitch.tv/TCThrowers. The Controller Throwers, pressing start since 1985.
And welcome back to Gamerheads. This week, we're going to give our thoughts on the Game Awards show. So we're going to talk about who we thought the winners, the losers, big surprises, any of our thoughts on the Game Awards show. This is going to be more of a, I don't know, just kind of informal discussion. Not that our other ones are formal, but it's going to be like less structured, I guess, and just kind of our thoughts on the Game Awards show. So first of all, I just want to thank Mike. Thank you for inviting us to the black tie party that you threw for watching the Game Awards show. There was hot dogs and wine. It was amazing.
I put on my best pajama pants.
So yeah, Blue and I and Mike, we joined the Controller Throwers, and it was Kurt and Sherry. Brian wasn't there, but we watched the show together. It was fun. It was good banter and
Yeah,
just overall good time. So I guess let's start with the overall thoughts on the show. Like what were your impressions of the show? Your takeaways?
I liked it. You know what? It was good. I mean, it's come a long way. I mean, it started off. I did some research. It started off in 2003, back on Spike TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was that old yet.
Yeah, when it was the Spike Video Game Awards. By the way, if you want to know, the game that
I'm
won.
sorry.
That's okay. The game that won Game of the Year in the first Game Awards was Madden 2004.
Are you kidding?
No.
That's crazy. That's so crazy to think about that. Because like nowadays, I can't imagine. I'm sorry, no offense, but I can't imagine a Madden game winning Game of the Year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I had wiped that from my memory until you said that, but I remember watching that a couple times on Spike. Like I remember the year I think it was Samuel L. Jackson was a presenter. And,
oh, really?
That was the year that Resident Evil 4 won.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize. So did Jeff Keighley run that back then too?
Yeah.
Or oh
Yeah.
wow, cool.
Yeah, he's been doing that since the beginning, back before, his show was it went through so many name changes. It was like Game Trailers TV, and it was like game. I don't even remember what some of the other names were, and then eventually, when Spike TV went under, that's when he started doing stuff online, and ended up just doing the actual Game Awards. And
yeah,
the Game Awards, when it first started streaming, that was kind of all over the place too. But I think they're really I think they're getting a good beat on how this works.
Yeah, I felt like this was I liked it last year too, but so honestly, to tell you the truth, I didn't start paying attention to the Game Awards show until we started doing the podcast actually. So I think that in years past, I've always thought it was kind of gimmicky. I thought this one was like a lot better.
Yep.
Because they didn't have the Schick guy on it.
Yeah.
The stick guy?
Yeah, it was like the superhero Razor.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was because and something with Doritos, right? Wasn't there something about Doritos and Taco Bell or something like that?
There was Jeff Keighley was one of his nicknames is the Dorito Pope.
Yeah.
Because there was a picture of him sitting next to a bag of Doritos and a bottle of Mountain Dew, doing some kind of promotion thing, and just the look on his face is like, I can't believe my life has come to this.
And I think a lot of it was, though, he was trying to get, I mean, I understand, advertiser money, right?
Yeah.
But this year was I felt like, and even last year so much, I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of advertisements. This year was more advertisements geared with games, and I liked that a lot more than just the Schick guy, the Schick Razor guy, and I think Taco Bell was in one year too. I just remember just thinking, this is so gimmicky, but this was a lot better. So
come on, nothing says classy like Taco Bell.
That's true. That is true. Blue, what were your initial thoughts of the Game Award?
Well, this is the first time I've watched it since it was not on Spike anymore, and it definitely felt like a proper award show that was trying to be taken seriously by the public at large. It felt very Academy Awardsy.
Yeah, I like that, and I mean, I think
I guess if video games want to take a legitimate place in society and be viewed that way,
yes,
I suppose that's one way to do it, is to not have an award show with Taco Bell, but have orchestras and people in tuxes and things.
Yeah, it did feel more classy, and just like you said, the orchestra and even the awards themselves, I thought they were really pretty classy. So very, very, it reminds me of something like you would see it as an Oscar or something like that. So
yeah, Academy Awardsy.
Yeah, very much. What do you guys think of who are the winners in your mind? Who are the big winners from this takeaway from the show?
Us.
Us.
Actually, that's good.
Well, I don't know. Did Red Dead Redemption 2 win any awards?
Just one or two.
Just one
I
or
think.
two.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
counting. I'm going through the list and counting.
I was happy to see God of War win.
Yeah, me too. I really thought Red Dead was going to win the Game of the Year because they won the best performance. I think they won the best music. Mm-hmm. I think they won the best art direction and the best narrative. I'm not sure about the art direction, but certainly they won the best narrative.
Yeah.
So
art direction was Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh, that's right. That's one game that I have not played.
No.
Good point. So
yeah.
So I think they won at least 3. I think.
Yeah. So let's see. There's best narrative, best score, best audio, best performance. I think that
was it. Okay. So yeah, they did well. They did well, and it was nice though to see God of War win
I know. I was
Game
like
of the
in
Year.
the middle of yelling, just give it to Red Dead so that we can all go home
I
and
know.
sleep.
I know.
And then they announced God of War, and I was like,
Yeah,
That
that was
felt
cool.
like such an upset.
And if you saw
It
that,
did, it did.
the crowd in the theater erupted when they saw that too. Like that was like the
Yeah.
biggest
They
pop
were
that I
s-
heard.
They were sick of hearing Red Dead too.
Yeah, because I'm sure everybody was thinking that all right, they're giving it to Red Dead.
But isn't it crazy? I mean, the thing I think that is interesting about that, last year was Legend of Zelda. This year was God of War. Two exclusive games, two systems. Isn't that amazing? I think personally, I think that's kind of amazing.
Both single player.
Yeah, both single player games too.
Yeah.
In the age where people are saying that single player narratives are dying, both games that won 2 years in a row have been single player narrative games.
Yep.
Yeah, and look at all the ones that are nominated this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God
Yep.
of War, Spider-Man,
Yep.
Red Dead,
Celeste.
Celeste.
Yeah.
All single players.
Yeah.
I mean, Red Dead doesn't. I'm not going to count Red Dead as multiplayer because I think they were nominated.
Not at the time it was nominated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, I personally think this whole concept where people are saying, "Oh, single player is dead, single player is dead," I think that's just a bunch of baloney. I mean, and I think this proves it. I mean, look at look at all the games that are up for nomination. Although I think that it is probably hard for a game that's online to win Game of the Year, because I think part of it is that they're looking at a narrative, and a lot of online games are driven. The narrative is somewhat driven by the player base themselves, right? Like Fortnite, there's no narrative to that game.
Well, yeah. Fortnite won its own thing, though.
It did the online or the ongoing, yeah.
Yeah.
Ongoing. Yeah.
It was good. I mean, seriously, like seeing it evolve over the years is what's really cool. Like like you were talking about earlier about the presenters. It's like, all right, you could tell these people never touched a video game in their life.
Yeah. 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 The other thing that I thought was interesting, I liked the orchestra. I liked I liked that. I thought that was great. There was the band that played the Devil May Cry, and I just felt, this is me personally, I felt like the stage was too big for them. Like, I just felt like they felt awkward on such a large stage, and it kind of, I don't know. I don't want to like. It was fine. The music was fine. It just felt like it was kind of amateurish. In my
it was
opinion,
a little
but
out of
that's my
place.
opinion.
No, I agree with you. It felt like it kind of broke up the show a little bit. It had a good flow, and then then there was this, and it's like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's the low point of the show, then it was a good show.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's a good point.
And that's the thing, I think, that it's so like that's so nitpicky, right? Because it wasn't bad. It was just, I just felt like, are these people auditioning for like America's Got Talent or something like that? And I think we mentioned that too on the stream. Like, what's going on here? But I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was just felt like they were smaller. The stage seemed to engulf them, I guess. So
Yeah.
What are my takeaways for? So I'm going to go into like what I thought. I'll say losers. I don't want to call them losers because nobody's a loser in this. But I do think, in my opinion, non-winners. I felt like Xbox didn't get. I mean, outside of Forza Horizon, I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of Xbox stuff.
I was actually talking about this, like you were mentioning, just Valcav responding to our feedback from last week. I was chatting with him on Twitter, saying he said the same thing, and I was like, yeah, it seems like they kept trying to like include Xbox in the show. Like when they talk about demos, they'd be like, this is on Xbox first, like with Devil May Cry and stuff like that. But when it came to like actual awards, it was a little skewed for sure.
Yeah, even the nominees, right? I mean, like it was. I mean, it wasn't shocking to me that Forza 4 won the best sports game, but other than that, there was nothing that was like, oh yeah. Maybe that's not fair because Monster Hunter World is on Xbox, obviously. A lot of those games, Red Dead 2, but it just felt like Sony. It's so weird to think this, but Sony seems to have a stronger presence only because I think God of War was nominated and Spider-Man was nominated. So I mean, two exclusives, right? That were specifically for for PlayStation. So
Yeah, anything that aside from Forza that you wanted to play, you could play anywhere.
yeah.
Right.
I don't know, did you guys have? Yeah,
We'll get them next year.
Do you have any other? I mean, what are the other, like, I don't want to call them losers, but like, I guess low points or losers in the...
I honestly I couldn't think of any other major low points.
No.
The show did pretty well, but I have to say the high points were some of those announcements.
Yeah, the announcements were pretty awesome. So what were some of your favorite announcements in the game or in the show?
Psychonauts 2.
Psychonauts 2, that was awesome.
Yes, I'm so excited. I love that first game so much, and it's been a long time. I forget when it came out. I'll have to look, but it's definitely like a cult favorite game. And, you know, for some reason, just it seems like it doesn't get a lot of chatter and not a lot of people play it or know about it. But so I'm so pleased it's getting a sequel. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, that to me, I think that to me was a surprise. I didn't expect that either, so that was cool. Did you guys hear chatter about that on Twitter or any social media before the show? I didn't.
Nope, nor did I hear it after.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Like, nobody actually brought that up afterwards either.
No. Okay, the first one was released in 2005.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, I think most people were talking about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And
for me, it was Ultimate Alliance 3.
Oh yeah. Did you hear about that before? Did you hear any leaks about that before the show?
No, that was completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a Nintendo exclusive, that is crazy. Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah, I was, because Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 were some of Brian's favorite games, so when they announced it, when we saw it, I was like, oh, I gotta call Brian! And Brian had just, that day, he just had to go in for a surgical procedure. So I called him up, and he's at home, and he's just realized, like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, oh my god, it's just there's a Game Awards, and he's like, what? I'm like, okay, wait, think before you say.
Bring it down an octave, and so we can understand you.
So I'm pretty excited about that. It looks, as long as it plays like the other one, the other two, I'm going to be really excited for that.
And it has online and local multiplayer. That's
right.
Awesome. That's so cool. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. That game plays like Gauntlet, Mike.
Oh, really? Okay, so let me put this into context, and that's a word we use a lot. Let me put this. All right, so that's what we had to explain to Blue this a lot because it was your first time meeting Kurt and Sherry, and
there's some backstory. For
sure. We had to give you some backstory on some of their inside jokes. So no, it's extremely difficult for me to get them into newer games, like different games. Like for them, it's Minecraft and it's Red Dead, and it's Minecraft again. So I'm like, oh, you gotta try this game out. But then, one of their favorite games is Gauntlet, and they're like, oh yeah, we love the original. Too bad there's no more games like this. And I'm like, there's lots of games like this. And so I'm like, hey, Diablo is out. Why don't something we can all play together? But yeah. So that's how that came. And they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then they go back to playing Minecraft. So that's me trying to sell them on it.
Change.
I need to cater to the audience and say, this is the kind of game we're talking about.
But it really does play like Gauntlet.
It does.
It really
too.
does.
I'm not wrong.
It really does. Blue, what were some of your surprises that you saw on the show? Like, what was something that you were like, wow, I can't believe, besides the Psychonauts 2?
I think the winner of the whole night was Christopher Judge's suit.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, that was a cool suit.
That was crazy. But then also, he presented the award with the kid, and I honestly don't know his name, but the kid who did... Boy, you're right. Who did the voice in God of War. And I loved that, even though it's a meme now, basically the whole boy thing. I love that they still put it in the show.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And you knew everybody was expecting it too, so that was the best part. So
yeah.
Oh, that was good.
That's all I needed. Then I could go home happy.
I think the other thing that was shocking to me was to see that Persona 5, the Joker, was going to be in.
Oh yeah, that's
Smash.
the other thing that everybody is talking about online.
Yeah, you were flipping out over that. That was cool.
And then speculation is that now Persona 5 will. I don't know if that's possible, but Persona 5, they're like, oh, could it come to Switch? Maybe. I mean, that'd be cool. I probably would double dip on that game because I have it for the PlayStation 3. Are you guys Persona 5 or Persona fans at all?
I've never played one.
Same
Blue,
here.
I think. Oh, what? They play like Gauntlet, man. No, they don't. But I think Blue. I think you would like Persona. I think you would like this. It's an RPG game.
Probably. People have told me that before, and my understanding is the best place to start is actually Persona 3. But I don't know. It's on my list. That's the best I can say.
Yeah. You can get it pretty cheap now. So when it came out, it was so funny. When it came out, it was on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. And both of them, PlayStation 3 was $50, $49.99. PlayStation 4 was $60. And I'm not kidding. Within a month, maybe, Walmart, again, pulled we don't know what we're doing. And they sold the PlayStation 3 one for like $15. They put it on clearance for like $15. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy 2 copies because Jake wanted one too. So because he needed that for his PS3 collection. So I bought 2 copies of it.
I clearly need to pay more attention to what Walmart does.
I know, like, seriously. And it's weird. Like, they'll just, you go to their clearance bins, you're like, really? You're going to clearance this out? Okay, I'll take it. That's cool.
It's either two ends of the spectrum too, because sometimes the Walmart near my house, it's like they've got Call of Duty, I don't know, Black Ops, the first one on the Xbox 360, and it's on clearance for $49.93.
Good lord.
My Walmart was selling Metroid, the other M, on clearance for the same price. So I'm like, really?
Yep.
I think I go into Walmart once a year.
Yeah. I go in more often than I probably want to, but it's just, like, it's convenient, so.
Yeah. Oh. Crash Team Racing. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I'm excited about.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I guess I played Crash Party. Have you guys ever played the Crash Party game?
No, Crash Bash or something?
Crash Bash, yeah.
No.
That was pretty fun. I never played the racing one, so I'll give it a shot. It looked cool. It did look good. So, but I don't know. I'm a Mario Kart kind of guy. It's hard for me to. I don't know. It's one of my favorite racing games, so it's hard for me to
well,
kind of
yeah. I mean, you're never
else.
gonna beat Mario Kart, but I think the kart racing genre shouldn't just roll over and die.
No, I agree.
We need more of
Nickelodeon Kart says hello.
Yes, yeah. I was just gonna say the same thing.
Okay, we need more good ones. We can't have it be Nickelodeon Kart Racers be the one that everybody remembers.
True.
Which is funny because I posted a thing on Twitter today, just had like a screenshot of some of my digital games that I have on the Switch, and the first comment I got was, ugh, you have Nickelodeon Kart Racing? Then I had to explain why I had it.
I was just going to say, wait a minute, I'm a game journalist.
Yeah.
I'm reviewing this game.
I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, I didn't go out and seek this game. I'm reviewing it. Read my review. It's right over here.
I know, right? And then the guy messaged back. He's like, well, I guess it's still stupid.
You had to defend yourself. That's awesome.
Jeez.
That's okay. I was told I have no brain on the internet the other day, so that makes me feel any better. Any other thoughts before we wrap this up on the Game Awards show?
No. I'll just be interested to hear people's opinions on whether what they feel about Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, up until then, it looked like Red Dead was going to sweep in everything, and then God of War comes in out of nowhere. And I haven't played Red Dead, of course, so I probably shouldn't judge, but I couldn't help feeling like Red Dead was just on this big hype train because they were the most recent game to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's what it felt like to me.
I 100% agree with that. It's interesting that you say that because I feel like Monster Hunter World, I felt that was a huge disadvantage because it came out so early in the year.
Right.
And even Celeste, because I think Celeste came out in January. I think that if that game came out later in the year, closer to the Game Awards, that people would be talking about it more. Maybe.
I
Maybe
don't,
not.
honestly, I don't think Celeste had a chance.
Yeah.
Look what they were up against.
True. But they did win an award. I don't remember what it was for, but they
won Best Independent and
Yes.
Best, what is it, Meaningful Story or Impactful Story, something
okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Games for Impact. That's what
Games
it is.
for Impact, yeah. So, no, I agree. I mean, I think that they were the dark horse in the Game of the Year, but I always wonder that if it was closer to the end of the year, if people, because this is based on people voting, right? I mean, a lot of it is, right? So
Yeah, it might end up being like the Academy Awards where you get that rush of movies at the end of the year that people are trying to sneak in before the awards so that they'll be fresh in voters' minds.
Yeah, that was my thought too. So, Mike, any other thoughts?
Buy Monster Boy.
Bye. All right. Well, then we'll end the show there. Mike, how can people get a hold of you?
You can check me out on Twitter, the Controller Throwers Podcast. We're at TC Throwers. You can also find us on twitch.tv/TC And you can find the Controller Throwers Podcast right here on GamerheadsPodcast.com and GamerheadsPodcast.podbean.com.
Thanks. Blue, how can people get a hold of you?
You can almost always find me on Twitter. My handle is @WritersView, and it's spelled with a Y, so WRY. And then I also have a website, which is writersview.com.
And you can get a hold of Gamerheads. You can reach us on Twitter at GamerheadsPC. You can also find us on the internet, and that's at GamerheadPodcast.com. And you can subscribe to our podcast at any of your favorite podcast players, Google Play, iTunes, Podbean, whatever you use, you can certainly subscribe. We would love to hear what your thoughts are of the show, too. Please leave us a comment and a rating on iTunes. That would be great. We have the link in the show notes to the iTunes, so please let us know. I want to know what people think of our show. All right, Mike, thank you so much for joining us again this week again.
No problem.
And Blue, thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you, Roger.
And listeners, thank you for giving us an hour and a half of your time in listening to the podcast. We appreciate it. All right, until next week, we'll see ya. Thanks.
So long.
Bye.